Hello everyone and welcome to the Team Radical Web Show. I'm super excited to announce some really exciting news. We are starting a new vlog series on our YouTube channel, and I think it's going to be really beneficial hopefully to a lot of our followers out there, because typically in the past we've always aired our hunting episodes and just the work and everything that went into just that specific episode. Well, now we're taking you across the board through all the team members. This is private and public hunting both. And we're going to show you all the hard work that we do every single week, but we're going to do it bi-weekly web show. But every week we're doing something different all the way up until deer season. And then we're going to take you through our actual season as well. This includes all the habitat work, such as your prescribed burns, your hinge cutting, your TSI, your selective cuts, your frost seeding. We'll do the spring plantings in the spring, April, May, June. Just the list goes on. And not only that, but we're also hanging tree stands, we're moving tree stands, we're cutting some shooting lanes, and why we're doing it, where we're doing it. Right now is a really good time to be scouting. We're doing shed hunting right now actually as well, and we'll have some shed hunting episodes coming in here in the near future as well. So you guys aren't going to want to miss these vlogs because they're going to be very educational, I hope. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us and we'd be glad to hopefully cover it in the following vlog series episode. But for now, we're going to do the 2018 hunting season recap, and this is for the guys that wasn't able to fill their buck tag but still had a lot of great encounters. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And to start things off, we're going to start with my 2018 hunting season. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, bottom right corner, because you're not going to want to miss everything we got coming down the pipe for 2019. The 2018 hunting season is really hard for me to sum up and describe, because it was really frustrating, but really good at times. I had so many different encounters with nice young bucks, 2, 3, 4-year-old bucks that I think are going to be awesome bucks here in 2019. And if you guys didn't already know, I'm chasing the buck I call Uno. Uno has been, oh man, it's been a heck of a ride. He is basically a ghost, and don't ever see him hardly ever, whether that's in person or trail camera. And 2017, I only had one encounter total with him. 2016, I didn't have any. In here, 2018, I had 3 different encounters, 3 different hunts. 2 of them I got on film, and I was so close, but yet so far away from getting the job done. It was awesome to see him, but it was just frustrating I couldn't get it done. I had him at 40 yards, 50 yards, and 60 yards on 3 different hunts. And one thing that's ring true on this buck over the last 2 years, I've noticed, 3 years actually, is he's in this one specific area for about 1 week, maybe 2 weeks maximum, and that's just hit or miss, and then he's gone. He definitely does not live on our property, and it's just frustrating grinding it out and not having an encounter with him, and there's nothing you can physically do about it. I mean, you try to do everything leading up to season that you can to entice him to want to come to your place, but at the end of the day, they're a deer, they're gonna follow their instinct and what they've always done. So that's definitely been frustrating, but I'll definitely be chasing after him in 2019 again. But I'm going to change some things up in 2019. And I think one of the biggest changes I'm going to do is not focus so much on just one deer. I went to another piece of property that was only about a 10-acre, 15-acre total piece of property. And I hung several different trail cameras, and I left them there for about a month and a half. And to my surprise, I had about 12 to 15 different bucks all in daylight in that month time, including 2 really, really nice bucks, 1 real nice buck. And so I'm going to be focusing a little bit on there. Another thing I noticed over there is that the deer movement over there was actually that midday period around 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. I'd say 90% of my trail camera videos was in that time frame. So I'm really excited to see what that entails over there, and I'll probably be spending more of my evening hunts in my more regular spot that I've always hunted for the past, I don't know how many years now. So that's something that I'm going to change for 2019. Looking back on the 2018 season, I was really happy with how it went as far as encounters went with quite a few different deer, but not being able to get the job done on the #1 buck I'm after really stinks. And I know a lot of people want to see this deer hit the dirt, not just myself. Uno he's a legend, and whether we do or don't get him, it's been fun chasing him.
This year was definitely one for the books for me, even though I didn't get to wrap my hands around a buck. I definitely had a season full of encounters. I put more time and effort and hours into the stand this year than I think I ever have. I started off hunting a buck I call the 6x6. I have 5 years history with that deer, and the last couple seasons my hunting just evolved around trying to kill this deer and figure him out, and it ended up that the neighbor killed him this year, and that's how it goes. You win some, you lose some. But after I got word of that, kind of got down in the dumps, but I focused on a big 9-pointer that I had on camera. And between hunting the 6x6 and then hunting the 9-pointer, every deer is different, and I definitely learned a lot this year. I had 3 encounters with that deer, and he outsmarted me every time. Would come from a direction I didn't expect, come in too quick, couldn't get the camera on him. Oh, it was just a frustrating year, but definitely a learning experience. I passed a lot of great deer, some bigger than I've ever even shot. And some people are calling me crazy, and some people are even getting mad at me for passing these caliber of deer, but that's a personal choice of mine. I have just as much fun, racking up the history year after year with these deer and seeing them get to maturity, get to their full potential. And some people say, you can do that if you have a big property. Well, I mean, it's easier to do it with a bigger property, but that's not the case for me. I hunt a smaller property, and deer don't live on my property. They move property to property. So once they jump that fence, it's anybody's ball game. The neighbor can shoot them, get hit by a car, who knows. But that's a chance that I like to take, because I like to see those deer get to maturity and then go after them. And it's just that ride along the way, watching them grow up, and finding the sheds and getting trail camera pictures year after year of those deer. It makes it all worthwhile to me in the end if it happens and you get that great storyline with it. I already started shed hunting a little bit this year. One of the deer that I passed, Jack Daniels, he's a typical 7x6. He's definitely going to be a good one next year. I'm definitely having my doubts on why I passed him this year, but him and a buck I call Crown Royal were in the beans in front of me. It was low light. It wouldn't have been good footage anyway, but it was just a sight to see. But you know what? I'm already looking forward to next year. I'm going to change up some tactics, going to be a lot more mobile. But right now I'm just looking forward to shed season and getting some matches that these already have. So good luck to you guys out there shed hunting.
So a recap of my 2018 season. It seemed like every time I got on social media, it was just littered with people having great success, and the neighbors were too, but that was not the case for my brother and I, and we rode that struggle bus the entire season. The first opportunity at a buck I had this year came on November 2nd. It was with a deer that we called Shaker. He was a 6-year-old. We've had 3 years of encounters with him, 3 years worth of sheds, and we first saw him this summer. He later showed up on our trail cameras, and we noticed that he had a big scar on his left side, and it looked like someone hit him in the shoulder last year. And that also explained why he didn't put on many inches, and definitely wasn't as big as we anticipated him to be this year. Well, on November 2nd, I got a text from a neighbor. He shot a giant. I helped recover him, took some trophy pictures, and I went out in the woods that night. I was pumped up and got aggressive and started rattling, and I rattled Shaker in, but he disappeared super quickly. And then 20 minutes went by and he appeared out in the middle of this food plot and was working his way to me. Well, I had the camera on autofocus. He went behind a tree and I didn't get that great of footage of him, and he also stopped. He knew something wasn't right, and it was one of those nights where we had little to no wind, so I let the arrow go and he hit the deck. He was damn near on the ground by the time my arrow got there. I knew it wasn't going to be good. I didn't get much penetration. I actually hit him in the scar, it looked like, from where he was hit last year. Didn't get much blood either. We gave him overnight before we went and looked for him, and he ended up going in a CRP. And it started raining that morning, so there was little to no blood. Never found him to this day. He still hasn't showed up anywhere. I don't know if he moved on or if I did end up killing him. It's a true heartbreaker. I had a couple other opportunities. One was with a 6-year-old buck that went down this year because he also got injured last year. Giant bodied deer, and it was on November 9th. I remember it was just after we got a bunch of snow. It started getting light out. I heard a buck grunting and I saw a doe coming in, and he was right behind her, but there was one problem. This deer broke his entire side of his rack off. I wasn't gonna shoot him, you know. I kind of caught some grief for not shooting him, but you know, having multiple encounters with this deer, it was just not how I intended the story to end. So I let him walk, and it was like he knew that he was safe after then, because Max and I had several encounters with this deer afterward. Then there's this other buck we called Short Time 10 that was an absolute bully. He was at least 5, maybe a 6-year-old buck, and he was an aggressive, dominant deer. I got some video of him this summer, and it was interesting to see how the other deer always gave him his space. You could just tell he was the dominant buck. He'd come out, they'd start following him, and it was really cool to see. He was such an aggressive deer. He's not one that you want coming in your neck of the woods because he would run everything out. The first opportunity I had at that deer was during first gun season, and he came out, and I wasn't sure it was him. Then he disappeared as quickly as he came out, and I didn't see him until second gun season. And Nicole and I tried getting on him multiple times, but he just played us for a fool, coming out at different sides of this field we were hunting. And we tried putting the sneak on him, but we got busted by some does, and we just couldn't get the job done to get a shot off. Fast forward to January, I went out to shoot some does, and I was hunting off the ground and had some deer working their way to me, and I noticed they kept looking. I thought they were looking at me, but they were looking just to my left, and I peeked around this tree and I could tell there was a deer there, but it was standing right in front of the sun. So kind of did one of these things and pulled up my binoculars and could tell it was Short Time 10, and he was 30 yards in the wide open. So I got the camera on him, started rolling, got my bow drawn back, and I could not see a single thing. I couldn't see through my peep, I couldn't see my pins. He was on to me and got the heck out of there. And at this point, I was just so frustrated. I mean, you know, I've been hunting hard all the way through January, and you know, to have this happen this late in the season when I was going out for does was not to be expected. I also had several encounters with this stud 4-year-old, and this was a 150 class deer. He had everything. He had brows, mask, character. He had double white patch, but he was just a deer that we were hoping made it through the season. My first encounter with this buck was during second gun season, and Nicole and I were out hunting, and he was out in the middle of this field, and she could have shot him, but she was on board to pass him too. Also had another encounter with this deer. I was hunting off the ground, and he came within 40 yards of me. I got some awesome footage of him, and just really was able to admire and appreciate how cool of a deer this was. I mean, his double white patch was awesome. It's one of the prettiest deer I've seen, and I knew that he made it through gun season, so I was fairly confident that he was going to make it into 2019. All in all, this season was an absolute struggle to put down a mature deer, but I did have a couple opportunities. I had several awesome encounters, and I had to spend a lot of time with some great people. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. It's now time to start shed hunting, and then I'm going to take a little break before turkey season starts. Good Good luck to all you guys that are gonna hit the woods shed hunting the upcoming weeks, and I'm happy to report that I found a couple good ones already, and these will be shown in a later episode, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We have launched a limited release of hoodies and hats available now on our website. These pair great with camo and may help bring the luck you need. If you're looking for a new hat or hoodie and would like to support Team Radical, check out team-radical.com/shop.
Serious land managers do everything they can to grow and harvest the biggest bucks possible. Maximizing herd health is part of any good management plan. Real World's exclusive Expect Healthy Deer technology is a true game changer. Developed by professional animal nutritionists working with captive deer breeders, Expect Healthy Deer technology can help your herd by enhancing the immune system, repelling insects, improving survival from disease outbreaks. This is going to lead to increased fawn production and antler growth on your property. To learn more, you can visit realworldwildlifeproducts.com.